So you're already familiar with the video I did regarding the Steam Deck accessories, where I talked about the various accessories that I personally use for my Steam Deck. But within the last month that I've had my Steam Deck, there's been more accessories that I picked up that I really should have covered the first time around, as in like, hey, this is something I might end up getting, and I ended up ultimately getting. And, you know, of course, you guys need MicroSD cards. I talked about having one in the first video, but I really didn't say what it was. But in this video, we're going to talk about all the additional accessories in part 2 of the Steam Deck accessories that you should pick up. Let's go ahead and dive into it.
This wasn't written with your comfort in mind. Nah. Made my decision, wasn't tough to decide. Nah. Me and my boys, we get it done every time. Gotta earn it, you can't just jump in the line. You'll get rushed to the side. I top my division, I've been building since I started. In the parking lot, I parked it. I came in while picking targets. My career cannot be tarnished. I'm a champion regardless. Celebrate, but this a different kind of lucha party. We are not alike.
Before I kick this video off, just know that every item listed in this video will have Amazon affiliate links down below. It doesn't come at any additional cost to you, and I'm not paid to promote any of these products, either ones I'm personally using. But if you do use the links down below, I do get a little bit of a kickback that goes into helping this channel out overall. So there's Amazon as well as Best Buy affiliate links. So just so you guys know that. Also, if you like the content I put out from Steam Deck tutorials, reviews, impressions, and so much more, make sure you like the video and sub to the channel and ding the notification bell. If you want to support the content we do, we got channel memberships, and we also have Patreon as well if you want to check that out over on patreon.com/MikhailCasanova. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video. Now, the number one thing that I think you should probably pick up for your Steam Deck is going to be none other than a microSD card. There's various sizes you can pick up for your Steam Deck, and a lot of people would probably lean towards maybe a 256 or 512 gig card, but I'm gonna say, why don't you just go ahead and go for broke and go ahead and get the 1 terabyte card, which is the Sandisk Extreme 1 terabyte microSD card. Now this basically gives me an additional amount of space on my 512 gig to not only put games that I've downloaded off of Steam, but also stuff from the GOG, as well as the Epic Game Store launchers, as well as my emulated games. And I've got so much space I can just store so many games on this microSD card. It's absolutely ridiculous, especially at the price. This is usually always floating around the 160 to 170 price range, and you could go up further and go to the Ultra, which is about $200 and some odd, and it gets you a slightly faster read and write speed. But these two cards are definitely going to be ones you're going to want to go with. And also keep in mind that anytime you get a microSD card, if you want to utilize it for your Steam Deck, you're going to want to make sure it says either A1 or A2, as well as be a V30 class card. That way you get the best performance on the Steam Deck without any type of, lag or latency. And also because you want the data transfer between the card and the Steam Deck to be fast enough. So whatever major games you're playing, AAA games, AA games, indie games, make sure they play perfectly well. So get a card with those class ratings on it. So yeah. This is the card I'm using and one I highly recommend for you. Now, the next thing up is going to be a Steam Deck dock, which I've already showed you guys one in the previous video that allows me to utilize various different angles. And while that's cool and all, and I really do love that, I kind of want one that's a little bit more sturdy where I can just put my Steam Deck right then and there and not have to worry about it flipping or accidentally falling over, and also has some type of anti-slip grip. Now that's where this one comes in, and this is a fairly cheap Steam Deck dock. It's usually about $8 to $10, give or take, on Amazon, and this one does what I needed to do. I mean, I can use it not only for my Steam Deck, I can use it for my cell phone, I can also use it for my Nintendo Switch OLED and Nintendo Switch Lite, as well as my iPad and other tablets and devices, and it just works. It's cheap, it's efficient, it's anti-slip, and it's really pretty well built. So, hey, if you want to pick that up, check down below. Next up is going to be another USB-C hub, and this one I've already showcased to you guys the cable creation one that I previously used, which is a really great one, but I also was able to pick up the Anker USB-C hub that generally everyone is recommending. And I have to say, it's a really, really good USB-C hub. And I actually like the build quality of it over the cable creation because it's a more sturdy aluminum type of build. And honestly, with the exception of it lacking a RJ45 or Ethernet input, I actually find it to be my preferred way of using it because I think because of the form factor, it's wider than the cable creation one. It's thicker and denser. And just because of how it is, I feel like it can dissipate and handle heat a lot better than the cable creation one does. Now, don't get me wrong, the cable creation one's perfectly fine. But I think if you had to go between the two, if you're not concerned about utilizing RJ45 or Ethernet inputs, then I would say go with the Anker one. And Anker does also have a variation of this USB-C hub that allows you to utilize an RJ45 or Ethernet input. But if I had to choose between the two, since they're both roughly the same price at about $34 to $35, it really comes down to what you have to use it for. For me, for my main setup, I'm using the cable creation. This is over here where I've got my whole setup. I can just plug in my Ethernet into my Steam Deck. And for my secondary setup and also for Leihua's setup, I utilize the Anker one, which is perfectly fine. She doesn't really utilize the Ethernet on it because she's not really playing games online, and almost everything that she's going to need downloaded, I personally download for her. Now, something else I think you guys should utilize if you do decide to get either of these USB-C hubs or any of the ones that you currently have is a 90-degree right angle USB-C adapter. Now, I utilize this with the Anker as well as the cable creation USB-C hub, and what it does is it allows all the data bandwidth to go through, so video, Ethernet, and just being able to use the other inputs on the USB hub doesn't get impacted by this right angle adapter. And in fact, what it really helps substantially with is reducing the stress on the cable when it's plugged into the Steam Deck. So typically with most of the USB-C hubs, you can just plug them into the top and then just drape it over. But over time, because of the way, if you're plugging in a bunch of different devices, it's going to start feeling a little heavy, a little hefty, and that's going to start bending the cable. And that could eventually over time start to wear and tear on that cable's connection. So with the right angle adapter, all you got to do is plug in your USB-C hub or any of your USB-C devices into it and then plug it into the Steam Deck, and it removes that stressor. Now, these are fairly cheap. There's a 3-pack that I picked up. It's about $8 to $9. I think you guys are really like. So yeah, that right there, if you're going to get a USB-C hub, I would say get that, and that way you can take the stress off of the cable itself. Next up is going to be a pair of keyboards that I utilize, as well as mice that I think are really good. And that's going to be none other than the Logitech G, the 915 and 915 TKL. These are two keyboards that I absolutely love. Now, I've got the 915 full-size tactical on my left side here that I utilize when I'm doing my editing and everything on my ultra-wide monitor here, and I've got my 915 TKL right here in front of me and from my other ultra-wide and my 4K panel. And basically what I do with this is, if I've got my Steam Deck here and I want to utilize either of the keyboards, just depending, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I can just press the Bluetooth functionality, or if I want to, I could also have them plugged in via USB, and it just automatically switches over, and it's got that light speed technology built into it. So going back and forth is instantaneous, and I don't have to worry about, cables and all this other stuff. And I just like the feel of it. So the 915 TKL is the clicky. There's also the tactical and another variation that you can pick up. And like I said, my 915 full size is the tactical, and I really like how both of these feel. They've got the volume scroller, you've got your play pause, you've also got your customization on it if you utilize the Logitech G hub. And it's really nice to be able to sit here and be able to switch back and forth between utilizing the keyboard on my regular desktop as well as utilizing it on the Steam Deck. And because it's also Bluetooth, I can also take it to other rooms and just keep it in Bluetooth functionality. And if I need to type anything or just utilize it, not only for the Steam Deck, but for anything else, so cell phones, tablets, you name it, I can utilize it for it. And it's just instantaneous how it works. I really like this keyboard. Like, these pair of keyboards are honestly, to me, probably the best pair that I've ever used. and ones that I highly recommend as well. And when it comes to mice, I really want to say the Logitech G, the 903 Hero. This is a phenomenal mouse that I absolutely love using. This, I've got two of them. I've got one set up here for the Steam Deck and also one set up for my regular computer. And I just love, the weight of it, the functionality, to being able to customize everything at the click of a finger, because everything is right here on it that I need. So if I want to switch the DPI settings on it, or if I want to switch up, the functionality is all right there at my fingertips. It's such a good mouse that it's really good for gaming. It's good for content creation and editing. It's good for audio engineering. It's good for the Steam Deck. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't have Bluetooth capability built into it, which I do think is a bit of a bummer, but I can just plug this in via USB with the USB adapter it comes with, and boom, I'm working it with my Steam Deck, and it just works absolutely phenomenally well. Now, when it comes to controllers, you're definitely going to want to pick up a controller for yourself for playing games on your Steam Deck when it's docked, or you can also play with it in your hand, but personally I'd say just get a really good controller that you want to utilize with your Steam Deck. For me, that's going to be none other than the Victrix Gambit, because I absolutely love this controller. Fully customizable. It's the fastest wired controller for competitive gaming ever. There's nothing topping this.
Targets are over there.
We're using the Victrix Gambit controller, testing it out with some Halo multiplayer, just so you guys know what it feels like. It's fully customizable. You can change out the faceplate on this and put on another if you wanted to. The thumbsticks as well as the D-pad are fully removable and changeable. So if you like to customize your controller, this is going to be what you want to utilize. It also has trigger stops on the back as well as paddles, and the paddles on the back are removable. So if you don't like utilizing paddles, you can remove that as well. Now, the trigger stops, you have your standard full depression as well as your hair trigger. So it's really good. Plus, the feedback on it is really nice. I do wish there was a wireless variation of this controller. Unfortunately, Victrix hasn't made that, but their specialty has always been in the competitive scene. So if you're looking for the best fight sticks as well as best, competitive controllers, you're going to want to go with Victrix for that. Now, if you don't want to go with a wired controller, you do have options with wireless controllers as well. So you can go with the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, or you can go with the Xbox One and Series S and X controllers. So you've got your options, whatever your preference is for a controller. Now, this is going to be something more so for the content creators out there, the streamers, the YouTubers and whatnot. This is going to be something I think that they're going to find more use for than the average everyday person, and that's going to be a capture card. When it comes to capture cards, the ones that I primarily use are going to be AVerMedia capture cards. Now, I've got the AVerMedia Live Gamer 4K, the Live Gamer Ultra, as well as the Live Gamer Bolt, and I personally find each and every one of these devices to work flawlessly and seamlessly, no matter whether I'm using the Live Gamer 4K on my gaming desktop here, the Live Gamer Bolt on my gaming laptop in my secondary office setup, or if I'm using the Live Gamer Ultra either at Lehua Station, or if I'm on the go, that's going to be the device that I'm going to be taking with me. Now, they all let you capture 4K content with 4K 60 pass-through with HDR. Now, there are some variations on that too. If you want to do 4K 60, then you're going to want to get the Live Gamer Bolt or the Live Gamer 4K internal capture card. That way you can get, 4K 60 frames per second with HDR turned on. Now, if you're not really into 4K 60, if you just need to do 4K 30 frames per second, along with maybe HDR here and there, or you just want a 4K 60 pass-through, then the Live Gamer Ultra is going to be the capture card you're going to want to get. No matter which of these three that you pick up, they all work perfectly fine with the Steam Deck and are very seamless with the integration. So as soon as you plug in your Steam Deck, you're going to be able to go straight from there and just, hey, it works. That's all I can say. They all work seamlessly with the Valve Steam Deck. So as soon as you plug in your Steam Deck into it, you can just hit record on either OBS, XSplit, or RE Central on your computer, and you're going to be capturing your content just like that. And it also looks very, very nice. There's a lot of variations when it comes to like the customization that you can tinker with and tweak. So all you got to do is really go into the RE Central and then tweak your settings there to your personal taste. And then there you go. Last thing I want to talk about is a power bank. And one that I recommend is this one from Anker. That's about 20,000 milliamps. And it allows you to get several play usages out of your Steam Deck before the battery hits 0. It's one I highly recommend, one that I personally use, and it's just something that I think, if you got a Steam Deck, you're going to want to have a power bank. And yeah, you could have one that's about 10,000 milliamps. Not anything wrong with that, but I would say the sweet spot is about 20 to 28,000 milliamps, and then maybe a 30 or 40,000 as well. So it just depends on how much you're willing to spend on it and which one you personally would utilize for your travels and such. Now, with all that being said, what do you guys think of the accessories that I recommended? Are there some that you recommend yourself or ones that you personally prefer? Whatever your thoughts are, let's go ahead and get the conversation going in the comment section down below. If you want to take the conversation further, we do have Discord as well as Gilded with links to those in the description below. And outside of that, if you want to pick up any of the items that I listed in this video, links for them are going to be down in the description. And those links are affiliate links, so I will be getting a little bit of a kickback at no additional charge to you, which goes into helping this channel out. If you like the content I put out from Steam Deck tutorials, reviews, tech reviews, game reviews, and so much more, then make sure you hit the like button, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and ding the notification bell. If you want to support further, we do have channel memberships as well as Patreon with links to those in the description down below as well. All that being said, I'm signing out. Hope you guys have a great and aloha blessed rest of your day. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Mahalo for making it to the end of the video, and if you found anything of importance or substance that you gained from watching this, make sure you leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you sub to the channel and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the content that you get from my channel, from podcasts, streams, reviews, impressions, reactions, and so much more. If you want to support what we do have channel memberships, we've got Patreon, we've got Subscribe Star, as well as coffee, which I would love to be drinking some coffee right now, which I am. That's some good coffee. But anyway, we got all of that, and we also have merch on Teespring and TeePublic, so make sure you go check that out. And all that being said, I just hope to see you in the next video that I put out. So hey, see you around.